So acdc have apparently released close to 200 songs throughout their career, which isn't really that hard to imagine when they've got about 17 studio albums, each with about 10 songs, maybe more on it. But you'd think with a back catalogue of nearly 200 songs, deciding a setlist to play live must be quite the task. But that's not necessarily the case with acdc. Because they have so many popular hit songs, you can almost guarantee what an acdc setlist is going to look like. In fact, if we look at the Power Up tour setlist, I actually went to this tour last year as well. This is what we're kind of dealing with. Most of these songs are as you would expect. Back in Black, Shot Down in Flames, Thunderstruck, Hell's Bells, Highway to Hell, Shoot to Thrill, Rock and Roll Train, Riff Raff, TNT, Whole Lot of Rosie, Let There Be Rock for those about to rock. Amongst others, as we can see, but to be honest, it's been quite similar to this for the last few decades. I think AC/DC just really understand that their fans want to see certain songs live, certain songs that they can't not play, which doesn't really leave much room for anything else, but occasionally they will throw in something a little bit different. For example, sometimes they'll play 1 or 2 songs off their latest album. And again, looking at the Power Up tour set list, they played Demon Fire and Shot in the Dark. They didn't play any others, but those were the 2 songs that they picked off their latest album, Power Up. Sin City and Riff Raff were also really cool choices for this tour off not Power Up, but Powerage, one of AC/DC's fan favourite albums, let's be honest. But the rest of the setlist, as we can see, is stuff you just expect to see. But that got me thinking, with a back catalogue of nearly 200 songs, and when they play live, they're probably going to play about 20 to 25 songs live, that's an awful lot of songs that they're not playing. And then that got me thinking further, there must be some songs that AC/DC have recorded and released that they have never played live before. So I've done a little bit of research, and by that I mean I asked Chatgpt, what songs have AC/DC never played live? And it's given me a list of about 20 songs here that AC/DC have allegedly, apparently never played live. Who knows for sure whether this is accurate? There might be some rare occasions where they might have played these songs or one of these songs here and there, but for the most part these are songs that I believe that AC/DC have never played live. So the first song on the list, Let Me Put My Love Into You off Back in Black. Now that's surprising because Back in Black being such a popular album, if I'm not mistaken, one of the biggest selling albums of all time, you would assume at some point within their career they will have played every song off that album, but apparently they have never played Let Me Put My Love Into You live. I think that's quite a cool riff. And it even says on the side there, this is the only track on the album never to make a live set list. And next on the list, Night Prowler. It says at the side there, one of the darker songs. Now that song, there might be a reason that they never played that song live. I mean, let's not forget as well, AC/DC, maybe they didn't play a lot of the Bon Scott stuff live after he passed away, either for respect or maybe because it's not a song that fitted Brian's voice. And maybe if Bon Scott was still around, they might have played some of these songs later on. But this song, Night Prowler, has a little bit of dark history, which is nothing to do with the band, but the band do get kind of caught up in it a little bit. And apparently there was a serial killer at some point, either in the 70s or 80s in America, and apparently they associated that he liked AC/DC and they used this song as the example, thinking that this song might have influenced him to basically stalk someone and, you know, the rest. Which I think is really unfair to connect the band with something like that, but that's what happened at the time, and maybe for that reason, maybe that's why they've never played this song live. Love Hungry Man off the same album, Highway to Hell. That almost doesn't sound like an AC/DC song. I mean, it is, but you know, it doesn't have the same power that some other AC/DC songs have, and maybe for that reason, that's why they didn't play that one live, because maybe it just didn't have the impact it needed for a live show. Now, in the early days of AC/DC, they kind of really made it known that they were a rock and roll band, not a rock band, rock and roll band. And rock and roll heavily influenced by, you know, the blues and Elvis and things like that, and we get a lot of this kind of stuff. And there's a lot of AC/DCs that kind of started life with that 12-bar rock and roll kind of feel. There's a couple here that are quite similar. Ain't No Fun Waiting Round to Be a Millionaire off Dirty Deeds, and also there's going to be some rocking. Ain't No Fun Waiting Round to Be a Millionaire sounds like this. And there's going to be some rocking sounds like this. So quite similar songs, so if those were on a set list, you know, it might just sound a bit too samey. And not to mention, if you look at the set list, we've also got Rocker off the same album, which they have played live, which has got that kind of feel. So, you know, they've just picked the best song that sounded kind of like more that rock and roll kind of feel. Otherwise, the whole set list might have just kind of sounded the same. That's my theory anyway. What do you think? Now, moving on to Powerage, we have Gimme a Bullet. As I said, Powerage, a fan favourite. There's some really cool songs on that album. So again, I would have assumed that at some point they might have played all of these songs live, but apparently they've never played Gimme a Bullet. And it's not like they just didn't want to play it when Bon was alive. They might have just not got around to it because that was in 1978, and 2 years later we lost Bon Scott. Moving on next, we have another Brian Johnson song from For Those About to Rock, 1981. We have Snowballed. Now this is my controversial opinion. I prefer Brian era acdc. I love Bon Scott era, but I prefer Brian era because I feel like they got more into riffing rather than just playing like chordy things, you know. All that kind of stuff. Great songs, but I, as a guitar player, I love the more riffy kind of things, you know. I love it. And all it says at the side there is that it just never made it into their live set. This is 1981, so by this point they've got some pretty strong songs to compete with, you know. Things like, obviously, most of the Back in Black album, and then the Highway to Hell album, and then previous stuff. So, you know, it's getting pretty tricky now to try and fit some of these songs into the set list. Shot of Love off the Razor's Edge. Cool song. I actually featured that in one of my underrated acdc riffs videos that I made a while ago. I do like that one. Mean Streak's a pretty cool riff. Maybe not the liveliest song off that album. I mean, they've got Heat Seeker. They definitely played that live. I mean, that's the way I want to rock and roll as well. One of my favourite riffs to play. Really cool riff. Now the last one I'm going to talk about, Nervous Shakedown. This one surprises me because I feel like this is actually one of acdc's more popular songs. That's not quite on the level of, you know, your Highway to Hells and your Thunderstrucks, but this is still quite a popular song amongst acdc fans. Definitely surprising to see that on there. I think that's another song that I featured in one of my underrated acdc riffs videos. By the way, if you haven't checked those out, go and check those out. I'm going to leave them linked in the description below. But I made a compilation of some of my favourite acdc riffs that don't get enough attention. In fact, I actually made 3 of those videos, so definitely go and check those out if you're interested. But there you go, there's a quick look into some of acdc songs that they have apparently never played live. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Also, let me know if they have played some of these songs before and Chatgpt / the internet has just been mistaken. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, don't forget to leave it a like, leave me a comment, as I said. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do. I make lots of guitar and music related content, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. So take care.